G'day guys, welcome back to the Gear Cave. Today, as promised, we have the Butterscotch Squier Classic Vibe Telecaster that we are going to modify quite significantly. Like with the previous two videos where we've modified other Squiers, including, this was also a 50s Classic Vibe Telecaster. This was a 2005, it still is, no 2012 translucent white. It was the vintage white version, made in China. And this one is an Indonesian one that Joshy unboxed in a previous video, which we bought brand new, a bit over 12 months ago I would imagine. So this guitar came out phenomenally. With its new energy and vibe just from modifying it, giving it a belly cut and all that sort of thing. It doesn't have stock pickups in it, which I bought it that way because I bought it second hand. Yeah. Awesome guitar, it's my favourite Telecaster. What I'm hoping to do to this is to take the same modifications a little further. So a deeper belly cut, which after playing my modified one for the last month or so, I've noticed I would tweak a few things. So those things that I would see as improvements to my own guitar, I'm going to do to this guitar and see how it turns out. It does have a major body flaw in it, this one. It has a putty filled line under the finish. Yeah. I have no idea how deep that is. If it's too deep for me to remove just with getting the polyurethane off, I'll put an inlay in there. I've got a bit of an idea of an inlay that I might put in there, but as I work on things, they kind of tell me to do other things, which I'm just going to play it by ear, in other words. Joshy's guitar that we did in our last video just came out so well that the troubles that I had with the finish on this one, I think we may overcome them. So this was my first refinish and it came out, I'm happy with it, but I wish it came out to be the burst that I wanted. Still happy with it, that was cool. So I want to get the same level of finish that I did on Joshy's guitar because that came out great.
And you can just see the burst in it.
Yeah, he's come out really good. So hopefully this will take the dye as well as his one does. But nevertheless, it's going to feel better. It's going to not feel like a plastic coated lump of wood. And it's going to have some more organic shaping to it. So anyway, no more talking. Let's get into this.
And let's go over to the workbench.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's weigh the guitar like we normally do.
Yeah, what's its total weight?
So we've got 3.91.
Cool, so for that to be a really comfortable, desirable weight, I would like to take that as an assembled guitar down to 3.2, which would be great. Yep. So anyway, but that should be really easily achievable with the chamfer and the belly cut alone. And you will lose about 100 grams just from taking the plastic hard coat off. Alright Josh, get the pulling it apart. We won't stick around here for long, so uber quick.
Yep. Take this one.
That's out. Here we go. So before we go out and sand anything, I want to get some original measurements and see how consistent the body is also. So clearly, if we're going to be removing this really thick poly off this, it's going to reduce the thickness of the guitar, its weight, and the depth of its body cavities. So to keep an eye on that, I'm going to do some measurements. So, whoops, and trash it. Lucky I'm going to sand it. All right. So its body depth, 45.84 millimeters. That's at that lower bout. On the top bout, 44.73, 45.64, 46, well 45.9. So it's really consistent, very consistent. So happy with that. What we should do is the depth of the hole. So 45 That's 35mm. So the thickness in the bottom of that cavity is 10mm. The belly chamfer is, so the armorer's chamfer is going to be there. So it's going to drop down about 15mm from the depth of the side and then chamfer up into there. So I'm going to chip out a corner here because I want to measure the thickness of the polyurethane, because I believe it's ridiculously thick. Look at it chip out. I want a big flake. Oh. Chip it into the wood a bit. It's not really what I'm looking for. I want a decent chunk. That's what we're looking for. 0.9 of a millimetre thick, which is a lot, which is essentially 0.94.
Yeah, 0.94.
It's a millimetre thick.
0.95.
So that's the thickness of the poly. 2mm of the body thickness overall is polyurethane, plastic. That's quite a lot, guys, I think. That's a heavy coat. Alright, so pretty much removed all of the poly. There's still a little bit left on here and there, and there's still shades of the poly in there. So where there's yellow, which is quite a lot of yellow tinting around it, that's where the poly was, and I've still got to sand off some more. But the reason why I haven't sanded it off, because I don't want to take off too much timber to give us too much of a false reading about how much poly was on this guitar. So considering there is still some polyurethane on here, and I've taken most of it off, but a bit of timber would have come off as well. So by leaving some on whilst removing most of it, I think it's a good average on how much actual polyurethane was on this one. And let's have a look. What's that weigh?
2.28.
What was the original measurement?
2.52. So we removed 240 grams.
Yeah, 240 grams just in plastic. I do want to model this body off this one because I really do like how this feels and plays now. So my belly cut, my arm cut sort of runs from about there down to about there, which I still think's plenty, but I might just take it a deeper cut this time. So that's going to be my guide to cut all that off, or sort of sand it down so it's a nice relief, because your arm comes through that way to play.
So what process are we up to now, Dad?
Alright, this is scraping. Reason why I'm doing this, because I've roughed it out on the belt sander, and then I've sort of sanded it to get a bit more of a natural carve with the hand sander. But what happens is you don't get a nice straight level through there. So with this sharp blade and the scraping, it takes out all the lumps and bumps, and you get a really nice transition through there. Once I get that, so that blade will be flat on there. It still rocks a little bit. It's a bit high in the middle. Very high in the middle there. So that's a big example of it. So what I'll do is I'll scrape until that can't rock anymore. Then I'll come back and sand that hard bevel out so it's not a harsh edge like Fender does. I just wanted a nice rolling transition. It's not a heavy cut. It's not as heavy as a Stratocaster or anything. And the arm bevel's still pretty mild in comparison. But this makes the guitar so much more comfortable. Alright, so we've finally finished the engraving and shape making out of, we've gone with the red cedar again, just because it's a good contrast to the pine. And with this one, I'm intending to dye it with a psychedelic theme. So that's what I've gone with, I know it's the 50s, but I'm gone with a bit of a hippie vibe, peace loving and sunshine and mung beans and all that sort of beers. Joshy doesn't really probably understand those terms. However, I've also tested the pieces to fit. They fit perfectly, so let's get away from the chit chat and I'll put them in. So we are using Tight Bond number 2, so it's not water soluble once it dries. Plenty of goo. Plenty of squeeze out. All right, let's do Happy Head over here. So here we are. I've just been finishing up the hand sanding. I've spent probably an hour and a half sanding it through various grades, and this is how it looks now. It's very nice, all the very nice rolled edges everywhere. Everywhere there should be smooth, it is smooth. It's got a great body profile now. So I've been playing with a couple of colour themes to do on this. I want to put some hippie sort of tones in there. I really don't know how to do it. Like I said, I've played with these few colours, same colours we played with on Josh's guitar.
Yep.
But I want to also add a bit of yellow and reds in there, so to blend those together, I don't know, but could look really bad. It could be alright, we'll give it a go. Anyway, so this lump of timber is made out of 5 blocks. Again, it's got the solid grains on the end that I want to cover up. But around the sides, because the 2 pieces of timber are full length, I don't mind seeing that bit of grain. So I'm thinking dark up around the front and the bum. Maybe a bit of blue-green around the bottom, and more of the sun and red over here, and more yellow over there for the smiley face. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Let's see how that works out.
Okay.
He's ruined. So I really hated how it came out. So I've got a new plan of attack. Kind of really going to make it look like a worn pair of jeans. Where, what I mean, I'm going to sort of sand out some of the colour. I don't mind the colours, it's just all too strong. So what I'm doing here with a wet cloth is actually I'm just mixing all the colours together after I sand it. And I'm getting this washed out denim sort of look, so I'm digging that. So that's the sort of thing I'm going to go for. So I'm going to sand that, and then I'm going to rub it with a wet cloth. So, get rid of that crazy idea. What I want to do is just rub it back so the grain comes through. I don't mind the colours being there, it was just too heavy. So I think this hand rubbed look will be good. Shouldn't have wet that, it's healing up. Yeah, I dig that. A little bit less colour, I think, and just get some of the wood tones to come through. Alright, we're going to have to let that dry, it's a little bit too wet.
Alright, guess we'll see you in a million.
I will continue sanding and I'll give you an update when I'm ready.
Alright.
Alright,
looks like you've recovered it, Dad.
I have recovered. I've changed it significantly. The crazy dye that I was doing was just far too strong. There was far too much of it, as usual, because I'm typically heavy-handed to start with. But so what we're going for now, I still like those colours. I just didn't need it to be quite as strong.
Yeah.
Essentially, the colours were so strong that it sort of punched you in the face a little bit. I like this recycled timber look. And interesting thing, I actually just set this outside in the sun to dry for quite a bit, and the pine has cracked. It's cracked there. It's cracked in, and it's really sort of cracked around the back of it a little bit. I don't expect it to crack right through, but that's cool because it kind of looks like a bit of recycled boat wood. Alright, so we're ready to paint. I'm just looking over it, making sure I'm happy with everything that has been rubbed and sanded, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks pretty good actually. Once you hit the clear coat on this, hopefully it'll pop a little.
Well, bring out the colour, that's for sure.
So it's the next morning. I've let the clear coat dry overnight, and today is the 1st of the 1st, 2024. So happy New Year everybody, and we're going to finish this guitar off today, the 1st of January. So all the painting is completely done, all the clear coats are done, and I've sanded in between the clear coats. There's 4 or 5 coats on this now, and all I've got to do is polish it. And that's what we're going to do. Alright, I'm just going to do this by hand again, or sort of by hand with the drill bit. I do have a polisher, a pedestal polisher, but it's just too high speed. I use it for polishing stainless steel. So it's too high for this, that's why I'm doing it this way. It looks a bit bodgy, but get a really good result, and it's not going to burn the paint off, which my actual polisher would do. Oh, just cop something in the face. Joshy.
Alright, so we're just going to measure the final weight. 2.1, okay.
On the dot too. That's awesome.
So that's actually lighter than what you wanted for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
she
right.
wanted 2.2.
That's alright, it's got to be a nice weight when it's finished.
Yeah.
Alright Joshy, chuck it together and we'll do the wrap up. Back in. Cut. It's back together. Beautiful. Keep it low. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like there's a second layer.
No. Is it?
Oh.
Oh wow.
All working.
Alright Joshy, let's go for the final weigh-in.
Alright. It's got 3.474.
Yep. Okay, so it came in a little bit heavier than I would have thought of, considering the body was significantly lighter than the other.
Yeah, because we got 2.1 on the dot.
Yeah, it came in quite a bit lighter, but it's only about 150 grams lighter than my first attempt with my other 50s Classic Vibe. But anyhow, measure the lower bout so we can see how much material I actually took off the guitar.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that at least 1 millimeter both sides was all of that thick plastic polyurethane.
Alright, so what do we have? We have...
Very carefully, don't scratch it.
42.48.
So
about 3 millimeters.
yeah, just a 3.5-ish, almost.
Yeah.
So a millimeter either side, and then 0.5 of a millimeter either side for a little bit of removal of wood. So really, we didn't alter the width of the guitar substantially, just how thick that crappy paint is.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Sorted. All right, let's go sign out. So we're at the end of another video. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you could like and subscribe, that would really help the channel out.
And hit that bell for notifications and leave a comment on what you thought of this video.
Yeah, man, if you give us some direct feedback in the comments, that would be awesome too. I personally think this came out well, very well. Once again, I got stuck on the dyeing. That does stress me out a little bit because I just don't know what I'm doing. However, I did learn what a great way to save the look, so in this case, again, I went too far with the colours and it was just too strong and a bit too...
Because as you said, you were a bit heavy-handed.
A bit heavy-handed, I typically am, and then I was like, oh, well, it's ruined. It was worse last time because it wasn't me that ruined it, was just, like on Josh's guitar, the dye would disappear on the end grain. It didn't happen this time. However, how was I going to get around a heavily saturated, very, very colourful guitar? Well, it was just sanded all off to the point where it was almost gone. And then I realised, oh, I've done this before on my studio walls with the pine slats that I've done. So I stained those and sanded them back. So when I started sanding this back, I went, boat wood, that sort of style, recycled timber. So I went with that, and it really suited
the vibe of this guitar.
And so because I didn't really know what I was going to do, and I thought, well, what am I going to do? This classic vibe, I want to add good vibes to the guitar, and hence the reason why the good vibes came into it, and then the sort of the peace out sort of stuff came with it.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of came together. I made this up as I go, as I usually do, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Yeah. Playability, did it affect the sound? It absolutely has. Yeah. It's hard to say accurately because it's got brand new bright strings on there, and it's acoustically it really does sing out.
It doesn't really sound like a mud brick anymore.
It's look, I don't like new strings because they are too shimmery.
Yeah. And
comparing it to this guitar, look, this guitar just plays awesome. I absolutely love it. The finish compared to this, I'm like, oh man. So I think I'll wind up just refinishing this one. Eventually. But it won't be such a long video. Anyway, digressing. So we're very happy with this. What do you guys think? I think it looks great. If you could let us know. I sanded the neck as well.
Oh yes.
I didn't talk about the pickup, and I'll just quickly show you that there's no cover on that pickup anymore. Now if you check out one of our other videos where did we show the two classic vibes?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but the 50s and the 60s Indonesian classic vibes. When I tapped the neck pickup, it would have a very clear, distinct click, click, ding, ding sound. It was horrible.
So that's why
that's why I took the cover off. So I assumed that was the case. They've put the cover on too close and it's touching the pole pieces. Yeah. So when you tap, it's hitting the metal cover against the pole pieces where you get that horrible noise. Yeah. So I just, in this case, pulled it off because it suited the style of the guitar. I'm going to play this in the next week or two and see how the strings calm down. I'm probably going to modify it more if I choose to keep this guitar.
Which we probably will.
We probably will, because once One thing with modifying these lower end guitars, if you want to consider them that, even though they can play and feel as good as any $3,000, $6,000 guitar, if you will, you've got to spend the time on them. But the problem is, if you're going to spend $500 on a $500 guitar, it's still worth $500. It's not worth $1,000. I've put probably 20 hours continuously into this. I can't charge my value to increase the value of this guitar. It's still a classic vibe, and it's probably, if it's worth anything more, it's not worth my effort and time and money that you put into it. So they're fun to do up, but that doesn't increase their value. I guess that's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
But they're awesome, so do it. And look.
Alright guys, so we've got more videos coming. Make sure you check us out. So we've got PRS SE model video reviews coming. So we've got the DGT, we've got a standard 24 and a PRS hollow body. Piezo. We've also got one of Dad's favourite guitars, a double cut Les Paul Special. Tribute.
And
a BFG.
Yeah. So I'll probably review those two together. Yeah. They're monsters. Great guitars. I love them.
We might be doing a SG Epiphone comparison with P90s.
Ah, yes, you ought to. Yeah.
And my one that I got for my 10th birthday.
So anyhow, we will sign off, or we will just keep talking into the abyss. Talking into the sunset as we roam off, I don't know. We're going. Alright guys, thanks for checking us out. This came out awesome.
And I guess we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video guys, thank you.
Thank you for watching.